Good morning, everyone. I hope you are well. Today's learning is dedicated in memory of all those that have Yortzeit, both today and those that are saying Kaddish in the current climate. So we want to share a brief idea. Parshas Mishpatim. Good morning, Clarice. Good morning, everyone. Peter and everyone who are still joining us. So I want to share a brief thought, fascinating idea. This week's parsha, as we already mentioned, discusses many of the laws relating to common practice in terms of our common law, torts, negligence, and the like. And one of the laws is fascinating. It says that if you see the donkey of your enemy, right? You see the donkey of your enemy that is needs unloading. It says you should not refrain. You shall surely help. Okay. So the question is obvious. Why is it we need to be told, right, that you should not refrain if it also says that you should help, right? In other words, you're not allowed to hold grudges. You're meant to act. You're meant to help. You're meant to cooperate. Why is it we need to be told and do not refrain from helping? There's an amazing story, friends. The story relates to Rabbi Yisrael Salanta, who was the great founder of the ethical, moral, philosophical school of thought, the Musa movement, as it's called, and it really transformed the lives of world Jewry. You know, everyone nowadays is into personal development, and we have professional development. So he said the story relates to him, and apparently he was on a train traveling to Vilna, I believe, and on the train there was this obnoxious man that sat opposite him. And he had a big cigar, and he lit up the cigar in front of Rabbi Yisrael Salanta, and basically he was, blowing the smoke across with complete disregard for Rabbi Yisrael Salanta. And Rabbi Yisrael opened the window, and imagine this place was filled with smoke. He's coughing, and the man said, "No, I'm a bit cold. Do you mind? We'll close the window." Anyways, so basically the whole of the journey he caused discomfort and upset to this Rabbi Yisrael Salanta. And as they arrive in Vilna, he says there are thousands of people that have gathered to greet somebody. And he gets out the train to see who it is. And lo and behold, it's the very rabbi that he's been obnoxious to the whole of the journey. It was Rabbi Yisrael Salanta, the very rabbi that he blew smoke over, right? The cigar smoke, the whole of the journey, and he was very rude to. He was the one that everyone came to honor. Anyways, he felt horrible. He felt terrible about what he did, and he went to Rabbi Yisrael's home to ask for forgiveness for the way he treated him. And of course, Rabbi Salanta, being a great rabbi, he immediately says, "No, you don't need to think of it. Not a problem. You're forgiven." He says, "But tell me, why did you come to Vilna?" He says, "Well, I came to Vilna because I've studied to become a shochet, and I want to be tested." He says, "Oh, no problem," says Rabbi Salanta. "My son-in-law is a master, an expert in this area, and he'll test you so that you can get your certification." So he has the test, and lo and behold, what happens? He knew very little for the shechita, and he failed. He failed dismally. So the man came back to Rabbi Yisrael, told him, was very upset. "I can't believe it. I thought I knew it all, and he was crying. I need this for my family." Anyways, Rabbi Salanta said to him, "Don't worry. I will personally make sure. I will pay for it. You will have the best education training to be a shochet. I will take care of all of it." Anyways, he did exactly that. For many weeks, he stayed in Vilna. He learned, and Rabbi Salanta supervised and ensured that he had the very best training, and eventually he passed his training and he became a shochet. And people asked him afterwards, one thing in forgiving this man for the way he behaved in an obnoxious fashion on the train, but why did Rabbi Yisrael Salanta go, and why was he prepared to actually go out of his way to help him, right? And he said that it's based on this verse. The Torah tells us, not only when you have somebody who is your enemy, doesn't mean literally your enemy. Somebody's upset you, somebody's offended you. So not only does the Torah say you have to help him, but you have to refrain from doing anything against him. That extra phrase says that sometimes we can help people, or sometimes we can cooperate with people after we've had a fallout, after we've had a broigus. But the relationship is strained, it's frayed. Things don't go back quite to the way they were. We don't put all our efforts in. We don't really reconnect the way we used to, because subconsciously there is that the umbrage, the upset, the disappointment, the irritation about the scars from being offended, and therefore the Torah comes along and tells us that not only do you have to think it, but you have to act upon it. Because when we act towards somebody in any way, of an act of kindness, of giving, right, of benevolence, then that reconnects us on a very deep level, and that shows that we have put the past behind, we've buried the hatchet. And therefore that is why Rabbi Salanta acted the way he did. Extraordinary actions. Not only did he forgive the man for the way he treated him or mistreated him on the train, but he actually invested and spent his own money retraining this person who had offended him to make sure that he could qualify as a shochet. And there's a lesson for us. Of course, we're not on the level, friends, of Rabbi Yisrael Salanta Alavai. I'm certainly not, and I don't think any of us are, although hopefully we aspire to be one day. But the point is, there isn't a single one of us, if we're honest, that doesn't have or hasn't had some fallout, some disagreement with somebody. And it's there. And although it may be the elephant in the room, it may be unsaid, we know in our heart of hearts that there is that frustration, that tension between us and another person. Things haven't quite gone back the way that they should, and the way to heal, the way to do that repair, is, as Rabbi Yisrael Salanta said, that we should find ways and means to helping the person, to advising the person, and by acting upon it, right, rather than just trying to work on our minds, right, then we will really be able to ensure that we don't hold a grudge, because holding a grudge is the ultimate self-inflicted harm that we could do for ourselves. I can't remember who it says. It may have been Churchill that said that I think holding a grudge against your enemy is like putting poison in his tea and then drinking it yourself. So clearly, whenever we hold any grudge, it's really ourselves that we are hurting. And the way to repair that damage, the way to move on from it, is not just to think it or say it to the person, but it's to act upon it. Please God, we should all be able to act upon it. We should all be able to conduct ourselves in an exemplary fashion. It's little steps, friends. Rome wasn't built in a day, but even a card or a text before Yom Tov or before Rosh Hashanah, or even just any act of kindness that we can do towards not just people that we like, that's the easy part, but those that we don't necessarily find the easiest of people to get on with, that will take us a long way towards this ideal that Rabbi Salanta was able to exemplify. Wishing you all well. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for continuing to support. Each of you are giving each other strength and giving us strength as a community. Tonight at 8:15, I think it's 8:15, Rabbi Plasko, Michael Plasko, 40 years, incredible stories tonight, which have not previously been told, recordings from him over his 40-year career, really worth watching. That's on Zoom and Facebook. Looking forward. See you then. Take care. All the very best.